Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Gothic 3. This whole walkthrough shall be wrapped up pretty soon. Now, just out of curiosity, I did do a console command to teleport to Orc Armor just because I remembered that I wanted to figure out where he went after this. Turns out he just goes to Murat's Oasis, which is kind of interesting. You would think he would want to make his way back north to his homeland, but that's irrelevant. Now, one of the things I wanted to do before we wrapped all this up was just to get a look at all the items and skills in the game. And there's a very easy way to do that. You could, if you were so inclined, just go through the trouble of finding all the chests in the game and acquiring every single weapon that's out there. But there's an easier way. Boom. And doing that doesn't give you every skill like it's supposed to, but it does give you one of every single item in the game. And I don't mean one, I actually meant 100. Now, this is interesting. These don't have icons, but I still think they work. What the hell is this crap? Who the hell wears this? Doesn't even look right. I think it's coming right out of my ponytail. Yeah, it's not even a full helmet. This must have been something that the mod was developing and they just never finished. So it's interesting that those are still in the files. Here's a merc helmet, which looks almost exactly the same. Wait, no it doesn't. It's kind of the skull helmet, which you may see some of the Nordmarians wear. And you know what? Since I can't wear... Oh, here's the Dragon Hunter armor. Oh, bitchin'. So this looks like the heavy Dragon Hunter armor without the helmet part of it. And for some reason these two... This one has a strength requirement, but this one does not. This is the Orc Armor that I think Khan gives you. Which I never actually took a look at last time. I kind of forgot to, but... Now, the problem is, of course, because of these strength requirements, like the stat requirements for some of these, we simply cannot use them. But, of course, there are console commands to deal with that as well, which I'm going to handle presently. One of the big ones is a command called Teach All, which gives you all the skills in the game, but sets your stats completely to 0. So now we have all these skills, but we don't have any stats. That's kind of a problem. But there is also a way to deal with that. And I'm just going to set all these stats to 300. Just to be sure I have enough to do anything I need to do. And there you have it. Now, strangely, we only have 40 protection, so I don't think this is working right. There we go. That's what I wanted to see. Now let's take a look at the Orc Armor. The Orc Armor is, I think, based off the model of the Ceremonial Armor that you see people like Cobrin wearing and the guys in Robar's castle. And here's simply the Paladin's Armor, which you see, and the modders had gotten rid of the weird, like, wings on the back, which didn't... I mean, you can see them here. They don't seem to, serve any practical function as far as the armor goes. Now, it's interesting, again, that there are two different versions of these, and it might simply be because one of these versions... Like, one version of almost every model of armor has no stat requirements because those ones are only available to NPCs. Which they had to set them... They had to create those with no stat requirements just to make sure that the NPCs could wear them even if they didn't have 300 strength, for example. So again, you see that just about everywhere. Now, a lot of these... Whoa, what is this now? It doesn't look any different than a normal Paladin's armor. I wonder if that must be specifically an NPC one. Now, the problem with this is that there are simply so many items in the game that to look through them all would take a seriously long time. So, and here's the Orc Armor. A Mertanic armor from the Smiths of the Hammer Clan, reinforced with ore. Now this is, of course, just the Ore Baron's armor from the first Gothic. It's interesting to note that they didn't use the model for the Ore Armor from Gothic. Here's Zubin's bitchin' coat. I'm gonna take the stupid helmet off, it's actually pretty hideous. We'll just wear the fire crown because that's pretty bitchin'. And what else? Enos's rulership robe. This is the, oh, what? What the hell was that? That was very strange. So let's see that again. Yeah, this is the one you get from siding with Enos. This is the one you get from siding with Beliar. And this is specifically Xardas' robe, which for some reason it comes with the hood, which doesn't fit our character right, because the hero's head is colossally huge. Ah, here's a Dragon Hunter's helmet. So for some reason they do actually make that a separate item. So altogether, we've got the full suit now. Now it's interesting that they don't give this model to Gorn. They still give him the old crappy one that they made based off of the ceremonial armor. So I'm not sure why they didn't bother to switch that around. And here's my fire robe, which is a piece of crap. Wild Runner robes. So this is the robe that some of the Hashishin wear. And it gives the Silent Hunter ability. That's pretty cool. Alright, so that's High Robe of Water. I think that's supposed to imply that you get that from killing one of the water mages, but there's the traditional robe. This is the high robe. So that's interesting. Now let's take a look at the weapons. There are tons of them. And all these at the bottom are the kind of crappy two-handed weapons. Then we get some of the better axes that we've seen before. The Blade Staff, Judge's Staff. And now, this is interesting because you actually can see that the modded... Well, I mean, we already saw it with the armor, but the items introduced by the mod will also be added by this code, which I was kind of surprised to see because I didn't think they would go through the trouble. I don't know if they had to go through the trouble, though. I don't really know how the command works. If it just draws from the files and makes sure that you get 100 of everything in a certain folder. Anyway, none of these at the bottom are all that interesting. So let's take a look at some of the staves, for example. Mage's Staff of Power, which, hold up now. Does that have like a... Whoops. I feel like that has like some kind of jewel in it, as opposed to the normal staff. Like, this one's got that weird top to it. Here's a Seeker's Staff. This is the Novice's Staff, which we've been using. Yeah, it's a Staff of Defense. Staff of Protection just has extra wings to it. But it has some very high protection values. Now, where was the other staff? Staff of Power. Because it definitely looks like this has like a jewel in the middle. Yeah. Which the other one is based off of does not have that. But I don't really know where that is. This one. Yeah. Get out of here. So that one, the Staff of Power is just this one with a black gem in the center. Now this one is pretty cool. Get out of here. Staff of Ballots. Now this one actually is pretty... Some of these have really high damage for a magic staff, because magic staves are not really meant to be used in melee except as a last resort. And these are the three. Staff belonged to a necromancer. Who? Interesting. I don't even know where you would pick this up. And, yeah, these 3 staves here are interesting because in the original game there were not enough old chests available to actually get these, and you could only get these by virtue of the console commands. But the the community patches introduced more old chests so that you could get these final staves. Now here's the best crossbows. I think we got as far as the heavy crossbow. So we didn't get the war crossbow or the Crash Mora, which those are in the upper tier heavy chests as well. And then here are plenty of bows. Demon bow. That one's pretty fucking bitchin'. We'll have to have some fun with that. And, yep, we got the Silent Death, I think. So we didn't get the Rune Bow, the Demon Bow. Scrolling up, we got more swords. Yeah, crappy swords. The Crescent is interesting. This appears to be kind of a shorter katana. I think it uses the blade of the Hashishin sword and the hilt of the katana. But it's not a particularly good sword. And we've seen all these before. This black blade. Damn it. Don't really... Yeah, you get this as a reward from the treasure, the Guardian of the Treasury in Bakaresh. If you complete the quest to kill all the ancient priests. So don't need that. Fingers Rapier, we've seen that before. The Eternal Flame. It's interesting that this is different than the Flame Sword. It has the same damage, but has lower requirements and greater protection against fire, but it looks exactly the same. So, I'm not really sure. I think the Eternal Flame might be the sword you get from casting the Flame Sword spell, but I cannot say that for sure. Now, this is the Blessed Ore Blade. This is what you'd get if you were the, if you chose the Paladin path in the installation, I think. Continuing onwards, here's the Master Sword. Pretty cool looking sword. Anyway. Ice Blade, we already have that. Dragon Slayer, this is the, one of the swords you'd get if you chose the Dragon Hunter installation path. So it looks a lot like the, Dragon Slayer in that game. These are the great swords wielded by Zubin. Then we have King Robar's sword. Sword of the Ancestors. I think is another one of the weapons you would get from the heavy chests. What was that hand gesture? Now, Samuel's sword is interesting. I don't know why... We had seen these before, and I had questioned how Samuel got them. It's interesting that for some reason he gets unique swords, and because of the improper alignment of the model to the mesh, I think you'll notice he for some reason holds it way low on the grip instead of towards the guard. And here's a Holy Executioner. Stormbringer, this is Angar's sword. Order sword, that's just a very powerful paladin sword. Or two-hander. Which is a Normarian sword. Here's the Headsman's sword. The Crushed Kempak. Which you actually still can't use. The Great Inquisitor. I think this is one of the weapons you would get from the heavy chests. For some reason, he doesn't really swing it right. He's holding it weird. Anyway, now we have this. This is the Claw of Beliar, which you get from the Knight of the Raven expansion in Gothic 2. I had no idea it was in this game. And I think the reason I never found it is because I chose the installation option, saying that I was a mage in the last game. And of course, if you play as a mage in Gothic 2 Knight of the Raven, the Claw of Beliar turns itself into a rune. So it stands to reason that it would have been destroyed with all the other runes once you reach Murtana. So I think that's why I never found it. If you choose the Paladin or the Dragon Hunter path, you might be able to obtain this through a quest. Or it could be that it's in the chest on the island east of Bakaresh along with your armor and such. Now here's the Demon Sword, which requires 666 strength, which I think is a joke. But it's interesting because this is a sword I don't think you can otherwise acquire in this game. First of all, that strength is ludicrously high for a sword that doesn't do enough damage to justify it. So that's why I think this is just a joke weapon, and they only gave it such stats and description just kind of as like an internal joke at Piranha Bytes. Because there's no other way to get this weapon unless there's a way to do it in the mods, which I have not found such a thing. Here's the Power of the Ancestors, another interesting two-handed weapon, which is just an elongated version of the Ancestor Sword, as far as I can see. And then here's the Wrath of Enos. This is a very peculiar-looking blade. I mean, this thing, I think, wouldn't hold up for more than a few hits before it got, like, bent and shit. So, this is, like, I think the most powerful weapon you can acquire through the chests. I want to take a look at some of the axes. This is the Berserker Axe. This is a weapon I think you might only be able to acquire by crafting it. And then we have the Berserker's Wrath, which is the one that we've only seen Lee use. And that thing is just colossally huge. And then the Crushed Tarak, which is widely considered the most powerful weapon in the game because it's got huge damage. And, well, it's got huge strength requirements as well, but it's also got some of the biggest range. So, set that to 400. And there we go, now we have it. And let's just have some fun with this, and set that to 1. Where's this bow? Set that to 2. And of course we do have some spells which we've never gotten around to using as well, which I might do a separate video just to show all these off. But there's nothing particularly interesting about these that we haven't seen before. The Hailstorm, we've used that in scroll form. Yeah, the rest of these are not all that interesting. The Soul Travel. Now, the Fog, I've never actually really seen any practical use for that. Because I think it only covers a small area, but I also think a lot of enemies can still see you through it. So I'm not really sure how you can actually make that useful. Now, let's take a look at these skills. So, these are all skills that are pretty self-explanatory. And, same with the hunting skills, the magic skills, the smithing skills, and, all of these. And alchemy. Now, the thief skills, where it's pretty interesting. The knockdown ability allows you to sneak up on an unsuspecting victim and knock him down with a club. Now, I don't know if that means every blunt weapon, but at the very least it does mean you can use a simple cudgel, which is just the heavy branch. And I actually have to turn Marvin mode off before I try sneaking up on him. So if you sneak up on a fool and just do a light attack from behind, excuse me, from behind, you'll get knocked down instantly. But of course, if we do this, we might actually knock him down just by virtue of the fact that our strength is wicked high. So I'm gonna set my strength really low just to prove the concept here. So here we go. Boop! Oh, it didn't work. Why didn't it work? Now let's try this. Maybe you need to do the heavy attack, or maybe I wasn't perfectly behind him. Yeah, see, there you go. He just knocked down instantly. I definitely did not do enough damage to do that otherwise. So that's how it works. You do have to do the strong attack in order to knock him down. Uh-oh. Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck you! Why are you doing that? Are you kidding me? So what, I can't open my fucking inventory anymore? Oh my god! "16th Part 2 off." Alright, well, I think I ran into an interesting problem where I just had too much stuff in my inventory that the game would crash and go to the guru crash message every time I tried to load all the items that were in my inventory. So I had to load this save game where I have virtually nothing in my inventory, at least comparatively. And now we kind of have to work with this again. So just as a proof of concept, I want to find someone really, really powerful. You know what? Actually, there's an even better option. You know who is really, really powerful? Alright, so let's show you how this works. First, do the teach all command again. Set strength to just 30, just to prove that we don't need much. And at least have some health in case something goes horribly, horribly wrong. So now we have the murder ability. The hero can sneak up on an opponent from behind and kill him with a well-aimed stab. Should actually also set each stamina. I'll just set it to 300. So, oh yeah. So we'll just set it to exactly what we need for the ice blade. What? Okay, we can use this. So with that ability, do have to turn Marvin mode off. So we should be able. Oh, I can't target him. Fuck. Alright, well, that turns out to be a bugger. Well, proof of concept. And he's dead. Alright, let's find another very, very powerful character who doesn't like us as much. Now, what the hell is this? When did I get this? I don't remember getting this. Oh, I don't have the mana for it. So let's see what being a dragon is like. Whoa. Oh my god, I can't even see over my own fat ass. Now, you can't actually fly. You can walk and fly fast. So So there's not really anything else you can do besides that. So Fireball seems to be the only attack that the dragon actually has. And he doesn't have much mana to use it. Alright, well, that's all well and fun, but sadly irrelevant in the greater scheme of things. Still wish I knew where I got that, though. Alright. Now, because doing the give all command seems to give me the Guru Crash, I invite you all to kind of experiment with it on your own and see what else you can garner from it, because I didn't have the chance to see anything in this menu, any other potions, or any of this stuff, just to see if there's anything truly interesting. So we're gonna find someone to stab. Someone really strong to stab. How much do they like us at the monastery? Only 70, so I don't know if any of them are powerful enough. Because I just need to find somebody who isn't friendly so I can actually target them in melee. But they also have to be really strong, just to prove how much damage I do. Alright, you will suffice, I think. Straight up dead. And that's how you do it. Now, it's not all that exciting, just because of the, the fact that they didn't really animate it properly. But it's still pretty funny. Alright, so that's all well and good, but even beyond that, we have one more skill that can be very interesting. So what do you say we give it a try? Sneak up on an NPC and rob him of everything. On a sleeping enemy. Where's the sleep spell? Group hypnosis. Where is it? Hang on. Oh, is it not an actual spell that you can acquire? Might only be a spell that you can get from scrolls. Yoink! Ha ha ha! So that's how easily that works. So yeah, these upper tier thieving skills are incredibly, incredibly powerful. You can make quite a tidy business robbing people like that. And the murder stroke, of course, is very almost game breaking if you can just sneak up on enemies. Fortunately, since I can't target him.
You dare to strike me?
Didn't mean to. Whatever. Alright, so that's irrelevant. Now, because that took a little longer than I anticipated, I think I'm just going to make this a separate video just as kind of a little bonus thing. And as I said, I couldn't really get around to anything just because having all that crap in my inventory kept crashing my game. So I can't really show you everything that is available, particularly the things added by the mods, so we'll have to let that be. And now, with all that taken care of, we can start the Adanos ending.